Good afternoon and welcome again to another live show here at Love Bay Afro Music Radio Show. And I am happy once again to be joining you, for this is still the number one African Caribbean diaspora online radio show. And we are delighted today to be joined by Mr. Trenton and his lovely wife, Diandra Sainville. Once again, they are joining me on the set. Dr. McDonald, she is away, so we wish her all the best. But we want to pick up from where we left off 2 weeks ago, as we was discussing, will you marry me? uh, what that what do you do before? What is expected before? Now let me, and I want y'all to help me out, because you're all younger than I am. So I want y'all to help me out. I think, Trent, that we put down some key points that should be considered before you think about even asking this question, or
Yes.
before you even think of accepting this question. We talked about that you had to be mature.
Yes.
Maturity was one of the things we talked about. Another thing we talked about, I think, was selflessness, where you cannot
Yes.
be selfish. Those were the things. And then, Deandra, I think we mentioned even compromisation. I think we may have
Yes.
even talked about how you have to be able to compromise and be able to get along.
Hmm.
You can't have it your way. Now, I pose this question to another group as we discuss this exact same topic, and I want us to take it from here. You want to ask somebody, will you marry me? I think the first question, Trent, that you should ask yourself, would you marry you? I think that's
Hmm.
powerful,
Right.
because if you won't marry you, why you think somebody else should marry you? If you can't put up
Right. That's a good
why
question.
you think somebody else should put up with your habits? So let's start from that
That's
point
true.
right there. Uh how do we deal with that question? How do you help our listeners all around the world deal with that question? You want somebody to marry you, but would you marry you? What should they do, Trent? How do you help them?
Um, Boy, I would say in the way my mother would say it, stop it. um, if it's something where you could see it being a bother in a relationship, I think that should take into some effect in your brain to say, I need to work on this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to go into a relationship with already some sort of compromise to it. You
Yes.
want to go in there with the best success you could get for it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my advice is if you ain't gonna marry you, deal with that. Make sure work on you before you even talk about somebody else coming to in your space again.
Yes. Powerful, powerful stuff. And Deandra, I want you to answer, but I want you to take it from this standpoint. The Bible, and we are spiritually based. And I know there may be plenty persons out there who may not believe in the Bible as we believe in, or believe in the God that we believe in, but they have their own philosophies and their own um, guiding lights. We could say it that way. But for us, one of the things that the Bible says is, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. Now, the wife is not the thing, it is the marriage is the thing. But what got me for a very long time, the answer was, well, how does a man find a wife? Doesn't he find a woman? and then he makes her a wife. But that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says when a man
No,
finds a
that's not
wife, which means she was already a wife before she was found.
a wife.
Talk
Right.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's that's
Come
a
on. Look, hey,
very deep
look
path.
straight ahead. Look straight
That's good.
ahead.
Yeah, that's straight ahead. Um, okay, I could speak on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with growing up, my parents started instilling you certain things, how to take care of yourself and how to potentially take care of husband or how to be a good mom. Things you still learn in the field when you really get in it. Only certain things they could tell you from what they went through in their aspect um of being a wife and being a father, being a parent at that time. So I feel like we start to instill these things from young that we start to implement when we going into talk about being married or being asked to be married or being a wife. I feel like some of those things are already inside you, like you have this nature about you, you have this character about you being a female, you have this, I guess, this aura and this sense about you um that God placed in you from long time. It kind of like kicking when you say, okay, now your mindset changed, your wife, your mindset changed, your mother. So being that scripture saying that he that finds a wife findeth a good thing, and you stated that that means I would have already been a wife before you even found me. That's because I feel like that was already instilled in me in my
Mm-hmm.
DNA that
Mm-hmm.
once I connect with this man, my wifely, aura and sense about me is going to be brought out. Like he should be also helping me to bring it out because he found it his mate, his
Powerful.
helpmeet, his rib. So it kind of come out. And then
Yeah.
along with things with your parents and people in your life probably say, hey, a wife should be that, a wife should do this, a wife should be that kind of build you into the wife you'll be, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I
And
agree.
I want to stick. I want to stick with you, Diandra, be because there are plenty females out there who are listening to us, like we say, all around the world, listening to us. What advice can you give to them that maybe they did not have the family background that you had, because you were brought up with your mother and father,
uh,
and they instilled in you, like you
yes.
said, these qualities. What what do you say to that person who um may be listening to us from an orphanage, who don't know who their mother was, or their mother died when they were young, or their mother was strung out on crack cocaine, or on drugs, or was a workaholic and never checked for them? What do you say to that woman who then says, well, nobody poured anything into me, so how can I be this wife? That's a
Wife.
very
That's
that's
true.
a loaded
That's true.
question. That's a loaded question.
It
Yes.
is loaded. And it's so much people out there in that same situation that you described that has nobody. But I could tell you one thing though, I would encourage them to seek God. Seek God because God tends to put people in your life too that can mentor you, that could to show you, to help you. And then that Bible, oh, that Bible, it's something, it was written way back then, but it's really, really important today that you could read in there and that describe what a wife should be, how a woman should be, how a mother should be, that
Mm-hmm.
have it in there that can kind of give you a guideline. And when you asking God for help, He sends it. He speaks to you. He speaks through other people to speak to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I find myself, strolling through, and then someone quoting a scripture that speaks to my spirit, singing a song that speaks to my spirit. So I say, okay, Lord, I hear you. So sometimes God has used different ways to speak to you, to kind of guide you and kind of direct you on where to go and who to connect to, because you can't connect to everybody. You cannot
Yes.
connect to everybody. You have to have that spirit of discernment to know that this person is speaking positive into my life. They're giving me good examples. They're showing me good um ways and means to doing things, the godly way. You
Mm-hmm,
know
mm-hmm.
how to connect with people, how to speak to people, how to grow within yourself. If you didn't have that growing up, he put people in your life and the Bible that comes together and just be able to help you along this journey.
It's true.
Okay, good, good, good. Trent, now you take it from a man's perspective now. What do you say to that man who who don't know what to do, for a lack of a better phrase? They just don't know what to do. All they've seen is the men on television. They watch all of these shows where, okay, you just gotta be macho, you gotta sell drugs, you got to do all of these things and be a bad boy, have 50 children and all that type of stuff before you even think about settling down. Or like even one of those famous quotes, you old time quotes used to be trend, which is sow your royal oats before you settle down. You go sow your royal oats.
So your
What do you say
royal
to that
oats.
man? Come on, let's go, let's go.
Okay, okay, boy, that's why the Lord put the family in place for situations such as these,
Yes.
just to prevent a hard thing like this. But I would say, um, seek counsel. You there's many examples of a proper marriage. There's always someone who you see, and you wanna replicate that, right?
Mhm.
So what you would do is you would seek counsel with what you want to replicate, and then keep in the back of your mind, you don't, because my daddy used to tell me, never try to replicate something, try to make it better. So even though
Wow.
you might want to
Say
replicate
that
it, always
again.
try to
Say
find a way
that
to make it
again.
better.
Wow. Powerful.
You not only want to replicate something, you always want to make it better. So even though you see that's something you want, or that's something you want to achieve, always know that the end goal is to make that better. So the next person that sees that, let them know that the end goal is to make it better. And that's how I try to live my life. And for all the men out there that doesn't have somebody, find somebody who you could confide in as far as what you want. Marriage, you find a proper marriage. You seek that out, and you ask questions. You No question is a stupid question unless you don't ask it. So go out there, and like the wife say, the Bible have many, many, many examples to follow and not to follow. So
Yeah.
it's there's literature out there, there are people out there, and if you with God will show you the people. Many successful people will tell you their success was because of a mentor, someone that they went to, someone that they wanted to be like. And that's just how the world is. We learn from one another. The Lord didn't make the world with one man to be in it. You always have someone alongside.
Aye.
So
Aye.
you have to we have the bounce ideas. We're doing it right now. This podcast and all is to help people who doesn't have those family structures. This this is for those people. Watch us.
Yes. Yes.
That's a good start.
That's a good start. Yes.
So
One.
you know,
Yeah. Go on.
I'm
Go on.
not
Go
gonna say
on. Go
that
on.
our relationship is perfect. Not at all. But I don't think it's terrible. I love the wife. I don't think it's terrible.
That's the thing, Fred. I'm going to say something that may be controversial, but it's going to be what I think is the truth. I think you and Diandra have a perfect marriage. Let me see, because when people think of perfection, they think nothing wrong. There's no flaws. But there could be flaws in perfection.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy, y'all. That's why I like y'all. Some of the greatest things that we admire today, they were products of people's mistakes.
You're right.
Right.
People stumbled on, and they stumble onto these things. So what I would say is that your marriage is perfect, still being perfected.
Perfected. Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Right.
You are moving forward, but boy, listen, what you got, and that's one of the, like I said, that's why I want y'all on, because y'all are a power couple. Y'all two represent a generation that can say to your generation, look, marriage still works. Marriage,
yes, it does.
Watch this. My air quotes. Marriage is a bondage that makes you free.
I gotta put that on a shirt.
You are bound to this person, but listen, like with Tanya, I want to be boy, because I bound to Tanya, I feel free.
Amen.
And that's when you find, like Diandra said it, that's when you find your rib. That's when you find that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And these are things that needs to be put in place before you say, will you marry me? First of all, too, you got to know who you are, because I can't find my missing rib if I don't even know what ribs are there.
Right.
Like in algebra, when I say find X, people are asking me, all kind of questions. Well, what is X supposed to be? How does X look? What am I looking for? And that's a major problem, where we have persons now walking through a dark place trying to find somebody to turn on the light, when it's them who needs to turn on the light by finding out who they are. And once they find out who they are, then they walk in it. And I know I shouldn't talk y'all business, right? But I remember this young couple that I counseled before they got married, maybe some 11, 12 years ago. Some time back. I remember. And in counseling them, things came out like, oh, we thought about it and we realized that we were not ready for marriage, but now we realize that we there.
Yes.
And then when I heard the words that came from these young people's mouth, I said, they ready now. They ready now. See, understand though, this is where we need to help people. People think that, okay, because we did this, we have to get married. Or because this happened, we have to. No. We have to be at a maturity level in order to make this work.
Yes.
Y'all understand what I'm talking about? We ain't got to talk everything. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
This is what I want people. This is what I want people to hear and to know, that listen, you could make a decision, but that decision does not mean that you have to go get married.
Yes.
Marriage comes after you have reached a level of maturity where you can handle the other person. Where you realize that this person gotta be in your space. And I say this all the time. Well, when people come to me after they didn't get married, oh, this person all around me, man, they need to give me my space. And I say, hold on, wait. Well, why you get married?
There's no more space.
It ain't no more your space.
It's no more
Yeah,
your
it ain't
space.
no more.
There's our space.
Boy, talk that. It becomes our space. Everything is now ours. Like,
Yes.
I don't own a cell phone. Tanya and I own a cell phone. So all my passwords, Tanya know. So if she needs to go in my phone, she goes in my phone. I don't own a tablet. We own a tablet. So I could go in Tanya's phone, I could pick up Tanya's phone and go in it. She could pick up mine, go in it. But let me tell you how it is in my house. When I buy, I am the one who tends to buy the cell phones. Reason because mine tend to get damaged before hers, right? But when I buy the cell phone, I buy me and hers exactly alike. The only way we know which one is which is when we go to put in the password. So when I put in my password and on my passport and it doesn't work, I realize, boy, this Tanya own. So a life like that, a life like that is a good life, I think. So how do we help people?
Yes.
Before they say, will you marry me? Get to this point. Because I see that too as your life. If I see Trent, I ain't gonna see Diandra far. And it seems like it's a problem. Trent like Diandra around him. And it seems Trent like Diandra likes you around her. After more than 10 years, after y'all been married more than a decade. And it seems like y'all just meet one another. How do we help people? How do we help people get to that point that their marriage becomes, boy, this is the best thing since sliced bread? What are y'all using? What y'all doing? Talk to me, someone.
I say with me and Trent had built a foundation during our dating time. I know we've been on here. We talked about dating and stuff like that, and we got to know one another, and we got comfortable with one another, and I got to see him in all the different phases of his life. And for me, I still wake up in the morning choosing to love him, choosing for him to be in my space.
Stop it.
Choosing them to be my husband, my best friend. Like when I look at him, I don't see nobody who want to hurt me, want to harm me. He always want to see the best for me. He encouraged me, he pushed me when I don't feel like pushing myself, but I then throw up my hands and give up. He encouraged me. He's like, okay, whatever you want to do, I here to do with you. Whatever decision you make, I here for me. And knowing that I have this person that's there for me makes me just want to just choose him all the time. Just
Trent, I don't know how much money you gave her before this show, but let me know so I can give it to Tanya. Go on, Trent. Talk, Yongo. How?
I just feel that you have to make the space enjoyable for both. So I don't make her feel like she is trapped in a space. I try to keep the atmosphere between me and her as clear and open as possible. And once again, it's all about keeping it fun, you know. We don't look at problems in our life as downer. We look at it as a challenge that me and her could conquer. And once we conquer it, we keep it moving. So a lot of people fall into this slump where they feel like they need a break from one another because they feel this person is suffocating them. Stop it. She is your teammate.
Yes.
So as long as you keep that spirit alive between y'all, everything should run smooth. because you don't want to do nothing without your teammate. So we keep that kind of atmosphere between one of us, between both of us. And it's fun. We have to be fun around each other because that's what gets you here. The fact that y'all want to be around each other. Then as soon as you get married, you don't want to be around each other. No, you have to keep that same spirit alive. So I still make her laugh. She still make me laugh. And even if we get on each other's nerves, just like she said, at the end of the day, I know you mean well, but that's just personalities clashing. But the air should still always be clear between us. So that's why me and her just mesh. That's why I could be around her 24/7 and not get tired of her, because I know that's just my teammate. That's just what it is. You're supposed to leave your parents' house and cling to your woman. So I've been clinging. I've been clinging, and it's been okay.
For your dear life. And those are some,
just
yeah. Go on.
Go ahead. Yeah, so me and her just been clinging, and it's just fun. We find it fun to be around each other, because when we do have to separate for whatever means it be, we really do miss each other. So call us what you like. We love each other. That's just it.
Yeah. And see, and that comes Diandra, both of you said some powerful things. And I don't even think we have enough time today to unravel everything y'all just said just now. But I want to pull out a couple things that you said first, Diandra, and also what you said, Trent, was Diandra, you said during the dating time, we got to know each other. And that for some people poses to be a problem. Reason being, because people aim to please the person they are dating, that they don't be them. And what I mean by that is, you think that the person because your end goal is just marriage, to be in this relationship, that you think that because this guy likes ice cream, you go eat ice cream, even though you know you lactose intolerant and you don't like ice cream.
Right.
You're pretending.
But,
yeah. So to please this guy, you do what he thinks you love. But then if you marry him, guess what? That's why you feel entrapped, because you can't be you. You gotta be this person that you painted.
Ice cream eating person.
But if you are you, then it's like, what? Take it or leave it. Either you want me or you don't want me. That comes when you know who you are.
Right.
So let's talk about that right there. How do we help people then find out who they are before they even get to this? Will you marry me? That's a loaded one too.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that is a loaded one. I feel from you start to be aware of yourself from long time, you already know what you like and what you don't like. Like when I got in a relationship with Trent, he's eat beef. I don't eat beef. I told him that a long time ago. So when he orders stuff, he's like, okay, Diandra can eat this. She can eat chicken. Let me order some chicken. So certain things I was able to already tell him, okay, I don't like that. I don't like when you say that. I don't think I like your attitude when you do that. I don't like when you leave your shirt on the floor. Put your shoes to the side. Certain things I did already know about myself, even with growing up, when I see other people, oh no, I don't like how that person do that. Or I don't like how that person talk to me. So certain things I could already tell them, saying, no, I don't like that. So if you want to be honest with yourself, to be open with your person, maybe that in your person. Because I was comfortable enough with Trent to be like, Trent, I don't like how you left your socks on the floor, and not saying it in a way for him to feel like I rowing or arguing. I just want to say, I don't like
Don't
this.
be my mother.
I don't like how you talk to me. I don't like how your attitude towards me was. And that came with a lot of patience from him, because I still things I was holding back But then we got to a space where it was safer for me to be like, okay, I gotta be open up with more things, more deeper things to say, oh, that rubbed me the wrong way, or that hurt me. And people don't say that these days. When things hurt them, they tend to bottle it up,
Yeah.
and now that causes tension and resentment. So
Talk
I
it,
had to
man.
get to the
Talk it,
place
Diandra.
where
Talk it.
I know he's my safe space, and I can say, babe, that one hurt. That one hurt me. What you said, how you carry on, how you talk to me, how you treated me. Um, and if you can't do that within yourself or with that person, you really have to evaluate your whole relationship with them before you go to the next step.
That was powerful. Trent, go Trent. I don't know how you could top that one, Trent, but go on, go on. The floor is yours.
I don't think I can. um, how do you know yourself? Boy, that come with time, Pastor. That come with time. You just have to really self-evaluate the type of person you are. And that comes with not just the relationship with who you want to marry. That comes with relationships with everybody, because your closest friends also could tell you your flaws. And they do know you, because when from you being you and being like you for so long, you tend to not see you. So sometimes you need a third opinion, of the trusted friend, or you just need to see some circumstances. You could read patterns in your life. If you go to one place and someone say, well, you little, when you do things, you little this way. And then you go to another place and they say, hey, when you do things, you a little this way. Two of those, 9 times out of 10, two of those people can't be lying, especially if they don't know each other. So it might be something you need to work on. So that comes with time. That comes with other relationships, with people. It does, like I said, necessarily not your person who you intend to marry, but you need. This is why, like, the Lord don't make us by ourselves, because you do form bonds with people, and people could tell you, listen, you might need to work on this. And they the people you really hold on to, the set that really tells you the truth. So so you need to work on this. You need to watch relationships you have with others, and you need to take time and find out about yourself and mature yourself enough to basically admit that you have an issue and you're gonna work on it. Because you could take the immature route and just blame everybody else, but you have to be able to admit that, okay, this is a problem, there is an issue, and I need to work on that even before I think about involving my person who I want to marry into that. So get some help, fix it, stop
Yeah.
it.
Stop it, boy. I think we named this one wrong today. They should have just named stop it. We should have just called it stop it today.
Stop it.
But it reminds me of something that I say whenever I do marriage counseling. Um, I I like to remind the couple that's about to be married, and I say to them, never see your spouse or
That's
your
the enemy.
partner as the enemy.
Yes.
Because the day you see them as the enemy is the day that relationship will begin to die. And that's what I'm
Agreed.
hearing here from this power couple, that yes, you may hurt me, but the hurt I'm feeling comes from a person with love. That person
Mhm.
isn't coming from a place of revenge or a place of hurt. They're coming from a place of love. And the Bible says it this way. The Bible says, blessed are the wounds in a friend's house. And that's me paraphrasing it. So, yes, I rather my friend wound me than my enemy wound me. Because my
Yes.
enemy wounds me to kill me. but my friend warns me to make me better.
Better. Yes.
So that comes though with a level of maturity. Be
Mm-hmm.
Because Diandra, when Trent comes to you and say, I don't like this about you, you could internalize that and take it, hold it down. Well, it's me.
Exactly.
Well,
What's not to like?
yeah, yeah. Eyes all of that, and the Bible said you gotta take it all. It's
I add
the same
tax here, okay?
it's the same like I love Zest soap. Love Zest soap. I grew up on Zest soap. Like I think men are supposed to only bathe with Zest soap. That's how
Yes.
that's how I grew up, right? But when I got married, Tanya said to me, Alvin, I don't like to smell of Zest soap. I said, what's wrong with this woman? What's wrong with this woman? So guess what I had to do?
And that's a
I had to stop
life.
using Zest soap. Why? Why? Because the relationship meant more to me and means more to me than a bar of soap.
It's so, yeah.
And that's how we have to see it. Like Dr. Monroe reminds us, and we use him time and time again. He says, marriage is a perfect thing entered into by two imperfect beings.
Yes.
So we come in to talk about that. But if you are watching this program or just listening to us, this is the Relationship and Marriage Hour, hosted by yours truly, Dr. Alvin C. Hepburn and Dr. Maria McDonald, who is off from our show today. And we are joined here with our special guests out of the Bahamas, from Nassau, Bahamas. We have Trenton and Diandra Sainville, powerful couple. They are sharing some nuggets, some key principles to us. Listen, you want to call a friend, you want to call your significant other and tell them tune in now, or even when we upload this on Facebook, you can go back and watch this in its entirety. These two are full of wisdom, and they are sharing with us what they have gleaned over the years. Now let's go right back into it. Marriage is perfect, but the two beings ain't perfect. So
Far
what
from
do
it.
I do? Far from it?
Yeah.
So then how do you help that person who thinks that everything must be in line, everything must be perfect before I hear that question, or before I say that question or ask that question, will you marry me?
Go ahead, lady. You first.
For someone waiting on it to be perfect, let me tell you, you might be waiting a very long time. Because God have a way to be like, that's what you want. That ain't what I want. So either you come this way where I want you to go to line up with this one, with this person I trying to give to you, you'll be out there by yourself. Stay single and lonely out here when I'm trying to put you together with this man to become this power couple. So I would tell you, don't wait for a perfect person, or perfect timing. When God then impressed upon your heart that, okay, you ready. This is it. This is your husband. This is your wife. You go ahead and you make that step and you make that move. It won't be perfect, but you're coming into the marriage now as being two imperfect people. It'll be a perfect marriage and a blessed marriage.
Powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I waiting for you to talk. Brother C.
And she didn't leave me much to go off. Just like she said, you will never find a perfect person. If you did, if you think you did, it ain't gonna look good. It ain't looking too good because they playing. They something about them. They hiding something, and when you find out, it may be a little too late.
Yeah.
So don't look for perfection where there is none. because humans are imperfect. What you need to work on is y'all two. This is marriage is a bubble that y'all two are in, and you try your best to make that bubble as clean as you can keep it. I don't want to even use the word perfect, but as best as you could keep it, simply because you're due to imperfections. And those imperfections is what makes you you. All right.
Unique.
So
Yes.
you didn't yeah, you didn't fall in love because she was perfect. You fell in love because, believe it or not, the little imperfections. So that's just what it is. That's just what it is. And I don't know how best more to explain that, but hey, that's just what it is.
Isn't there a song out there where it talks about perfect imperfections?
Yes,
Say
I can't
all of
remember those
me
songs, but
want all of you, yeah,
It's
with
all
your
of you.
perfect
Yeah.
imperfections. Yeah,
yes.
powerful
Yes.
stuff, powerful stuff. Yeah. So in my head, before I got married, when I was about in my teens, this is the image that I had in my head. This is years ago. Um, Diandra, I told myself that okay, at 27, I would be finished with my formal education. I will already have my PhD, have my certifications as a civil engineer. I would move back to the Bahamas at 27 uh, and open my civil engineering company. By the time
Mm-hmm.
I was 30, 35, I would think about getting married. But before I got married, I had to have my house, had to have two cars because I need a car and my wife would need a car.
Mhm.
So when I got married,
What means
there
that?
should have
Right.
been no less than $100,000 on my bank account. Um, yes, and the company should be able to sustain itself. That I could semi retire. That if I just want to go on vacation with this woman, we just go on vacation, and I come into the office just to make sure things are going smooth. That I can get paid even more money. So
I
that
like
was in
that.
my
I like
head.
that.
That was in my
How that
head,
work
that
out?
everything would have been
I
lined up.
like that.
Um, when I met Tanya, because I met Tanya in college in a math class, um, and I told her what my idea was. She said, "Well, me and you can't get together." I say, "Why?" She said, "Because I don't want to marry anyone who's already made, because then I was not a
Yeah.
part of the making."
Wow.
And
Wow.
then I am not going to marry a man who puts me in a house. Because if he puts me in the house, he could take me out of the house. But if him and I
Yeah.
build a house
Yes.
together, then we make that house our
I think you
home.
know.
I say,
Yes.
"Ooh, what a
The
woman this
chess.
is."
She would play chess.
Yeah. So I then realized that my priorities was in the wrong place. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
way society will try to paint it for us, that you have to make sure
Right.
Yes.
you got it all made in order to get that woman. But the woman for you, who really for you, she will help you make you.
Yes.
Did that
Yes.
make sense?
Plenty.
Yes. Plenty sense.
Okay, well, let's talk there. Let's talk there. So, what do you say about that? I can start with you, Trent, because it seemed like after the Andrew talk, boy,
Well, Pastor, our stories are similar because
yeah,
when I got engaged with Diandra, she was very adamant to how long she wanted to be engaged for. She told me straight up she's not gonna be engaged for no 3 4 years or anything like that. So then we sat at the bargaining table, and I was like, give me, I was like, give me a year. Let me build a house, and let me stack my money. Same thing like what you said, Pastor. And then that way I could. Now keep in mind my intentions are pure intentions. Um, just like you say, get a love nest, something for my wife to be comfortable in, some money in the bank so she don't have to work too hard. All this is fine and great and it sounds good on paper, but I guess your wife and my wife had communications because she said the same thing.
Even from each other.
I don't. I don't want us to get upset, and you could say, "Well, get out of my house." She wanted to be upset right next to me in our house, so I started to switch gears, and that's why, like you say, I make the space so enjoyable because everything now we get together.
Yes.
We have cars, we own vehicles, and we don't call it my vehicle and her vehicle, even though sometimes we do. But we do know it's our vehicle. That she can hop in it when she needs to go drive it. I can hop in hers if I need to go drive it. It's our thing, and there's no such thing as get out of my house. It's get out of
our house.
You can't get out of nowhere. You can't get out of nowhere. Right. You just have to be mad to get out. So,
you put it outside.
Yeah, you go on that side of the bed. That's as far as you could go. So I don't know if I think that's how it was back then. There wasn't no mine and yours. And I'm starting to see a lot of that these days, the modern way. Yeah. Everyone is trying to still lay stake to their own things. But once you say I do, that finish it.
Powerful,
I could understand some circumstances where you gained a certain amount of funds and it's a generational thing, but you still married this person. She still came into your space. You told her to be a part of your family. So we have to take marriage seriously.
Yes.
A lot of people are just saying they want to marry, but you have to really look at it from all aspects of everything. You have to consider a lot of things: finances. You have to consider your spiritual growth. You have to consider growth on the whole. Children. All of these things you have to consider before you even want to get involved and someone saying I do. So that's why the law tries to make it so hard to get out of, especially in the Bahamas. You can't just get married and say you don't like the person and then they call it annulment. It's not that easy because we take it very seriously.
Yes.
As every place should.
Yes.
So yeah. Be intentional about it and think about it before you even say I do. And once you say I do, know what that means. It is you. This person is now a part of you. This person is the extension of you. So yeah, it could be a little tricky, but you have to work it. If you take it seriously, you'll take it seriously.
And one of the things that I've seen, Diandra, and I hear even when I do counseling sessions now, and as I teach and I hear this new generation talk, they want to get married, but they still want to be independent. So they want to be dependently independent. And I don't know how that works.
It doesn't work.
Okay. Talk about it. Talk about that. Talk about what that is.
I can say I was a former dependent person. I was a former.
She a part of that alliance.
I'm not a part of the alliance no more. God has worked on me. That's something like having your cake and eat it too. You really cannot. You cannot say you're independent with someone you love. I've noticed now over the years, me and Trent get more accomplished together than we could do separated.
Say that again. Say that again.
We get more accomplished together than we did separated. And I'm sitting here and I'm realizing I used to work for companies. Trent worked for himself for a very long time. I recently got into working for myself, but I'm just realizing we got so much more accomplished in the 2 years that I've been working entrepreneur myself than we be when I was working with a company. We took so much things off our list that we was able to set goals, and we did it. Then we was together. We celebrated 17 years. I think we gone 17 years in total together. And I feel like just in the past 2 years
Congratulations.
is thank you. Just in the past 2 years, we accomplished so much more than we did in the whole years we've been together. And I feel like we have come to the conclusion that you can do it. Like Trent can't do it. Certain things he can't do by himself, and certain things I can't do by myself. So we come together. I get to say, oh, we could work it like this, or he can say, oh, we could do it like this, and we start to talk and we start to mash it down, and God start to reveal some things to us, and we be like, there it is, the 2 hour brain, which has come as one, making sense. And we able to tackle things we thought we never would have been able to accomplish, or we've set from marriage time or dating time, we just completing in these 2 years here.
So 17 years later?
Yeah, 17 years later. That's because
that means you had to put up with that independent, dependent mindset for that long? But you made it.
Yes, we made it. We're doing it, and we're doing it together. We're doing it together. And I think God had to also take me through a process, I think I mentioned before in here, where I had to rely on him, on Trent. I had to rely on him. I had to trust him with my dreams, trust him with things I want to accomplish. And then he in turn pushed me, help me, motivate me, so that it's like, okay, so I don't have to carry that burden on my own to say, I got to figure it out. I got to do this myself. I got to carry this load. No, this person here share my load because he share the goal and the big picture, which is at the end of the day, it's still for us. It's still for the family. It ain't Diandra's dream. Diandra's dream is for the family. It ain't Trent's dream. Trent's dream is for the family. Everything to benefit our family and moving our family forward and what's best for us during a particular season and particular time.
Listen, you just summed it right up, Dion. Man, listen. That's what you just said was what Dr. Monroe was trying to teach us for years.
Wow.
Marriage is perfect, but the two people aren't. We already said that. Yes. And listen to what you said, that what I'm doing ain't just for Trent, it's for the marriage. It's for the marriage. So if Diandra works to keep the marriage perfect, and Trent works to keep the marriage perfect, then the marriage will be perfect, even though they're not perfect. So people are trying to get themselves to be perfect when we'll never be perfect. I can never be all I need to be for Tanya. Tanya can never be all she needs to be. But if I work to keep the marriage perfect and Tanya works to keep the marriage perfect, bang, marriage made in heaven. Now, we don't want to fool any of our listeners in them thinking that tongue and teeth don't fall out. If y'all know what I'm saying.
Yep.
There are some days when I look at Tanya and I suck my teeth. But, Trent, you said it best when you talked about it is basically a knowing. I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do. Love is more than just this feeling, this bubble in my stomach. It's a knowing that I have these things that I have to do, these responsibilities, and I have to carry it out. And boy, I love that, Diandra. I love that you were able to share your vision, your dreams, and trust Trent. And he helps you with your load. Isn't that what the Bible
Yes.
says? Two is better than one.
Yes.
And then a 3
And that's
chords.
why we get married. The reason why you
Mhm.
get married is so the next person can help you. Why
Right.
get
That's the
married
plan.
and then refuse the help? That makes sense.
That don't make sense to me.
Okay, so we getting ready to close, but let me say, boy, Diandra, you brought up a point that got me want to have to bring you all back. Let me tell you what
Oh
Okay,
you
boy.
and
bring us
Trent
back.
touched it. You and Trent touched that on that point. That boy, when I bring you all back, that we can have to talk about. And that point is, you aren't just marrying this person; you marrying their
Mhm.
family.
Ooh,
Oh
You
boy.
yes,
marrying.
sir.
So all of that you gotta consider. You have to
Yes.
consider Drunken Tom, Uncle Tom. You
Mhm.
have to consider loose mouth Annie Sally. You all of them because
Yes.
when you go around for Thanksgiving dinner, for Christmas dinner, or some family member died and you gotta be there, you gotta be around these people. How do we deal with that? But we
Yes.
ain't got
This
time.
is
We ain't
true.
got time to talk about. That's a whole show by itself. Because
Right.
listen, you learn a lot about your spouse by seeing the environment they came from.
Probably.
And that helped me
Yes.
understand a whole lot about Tanya, why she does some of the things that she do. Like and she says to me all the time, Alvin, your family weird. And I'm like, well, what you think with yours? Why? Because this is
Yeah.
two different cultures now coming together to make their
Mhm.
own culture. So you need to know the backdrop of the other person culture to say, okay, we want that, but we don't want this. Or we can handle that, but that
Right.
can't be. We don't want that moving forward. So boy,
Right.
Very
Right.
deep.
yeah, that one deep. So that's another discussion. And I give each one of y'all 1 minute to wrap up what y'all gotta say. Because I know we out of time, but not out of material. Go on. Who can go first?
Ladies first.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
I would
Give
like
the
just to
closing
encourage
round.
everybody to okay. I like to just encourage everybody that's listening. One, to seek God before you make any decision you're about to make. Two, know that if you are already in a relationship and you are considering, know that you have to choose that person every day.
Wow.
Three, know that they're not the enemy. If you can't look past and forgive and recognize that this person loves you, this person cares about you, do some more self-evaluation and be certain and be sure that this is the step you're willing to make with this person because marriage is supposed to be forever. And my pastors tell me once it's good, it'll be like heaven on earth. So
Yes.
just make sure that that's the choice.
Yeah.
Powerful, powerful.
Well, like I said, she always is take my points out my brain, but
It's one brain. It's one brain. Yeah.
yeah, you have to be intentional, and for all my men out there, build something. You have to be able to create something with the person you plan to spend the rest of your life with, because if that's not done, then she will feel like a trap trophy, and that definitely not safe for a relationship. You want to make the space fun, because that's what attracted y'all together. The chemistry that brought y'all together. That chemistry need to be consistent, no matter what. Make sure the chemistry stays consistent, because they like the wife say, this is the person you have for life, and
Forever.
you don't want to be on a boring person all of a sudden. So that's my little nuggets I can leave there.
Okay, powerful. Thank you so much, brother Trenton and sister Diandra Sainville, for joining us. This power couple out of Nassau, Bahamas, been together some 17 years. For those of you who are just tuning in, you are watching this program, the Relationship and Marriage act, our at Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean diaspora online radio. Wow, that's a lot to say. Show. So
That's
thank you
enough.
for being a part, and we hope we'll see you next week, same place, same time, as we dive into some other provocative topic in relationship and marriage. You be blessed. Have a great one. Till next time. Bye.
Peace.